Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my Tuesday night Facebook Live. And welcome if you're watching this on my YouTube channel or indeed as an audio on my podcast. So continuing the theme, as it's still October 2021 when I'm recording this, and it is still Menopause Awareness Month, I thought I'd build on what I talked about last week on how you can minimize and support your menopausal symptoms if you have them, how to do that naturally, by talking tonight about endocrine disruptors, explaining what they are, where we can find them, and how we can minimize our exposure to them, and really why they are a problem to the human body, and particularly if you are going through the menopause. So we are awash with man-made chemicals. Since the 1950s, in the post-war period to the current day, the amount of synthetic industrial chemicals that we find in our environment, in our food, in our furniture, in the air we breathe, in the water we drink is just staggering. And whilst these chemicals may appear to be okay and have been approved for use as safe, there are some concerns about the testing of these chemicals, just how rigorous it is. Has there been even any long-term studies about our exposure to some of these chemicals? And I particularly think it's important to think about, if we isolate each individual chemical and think about one at the time and you test it for safety, yes, that one chemical may appear okay. But when you think about the thousands of chemicals that we're exposed to day in, day out, in the air we breathe, in our food, in our water, and then we multiply that thousands of times because of the number of chemicals we're exposed to, I don't think there have been any studies done on the cumulative effect of these and what they are doing to the human body. So we find these in household goods, in our furniture, in the water, in the air we breathe, but they're particularly high in the agricultural industry and in pesticides as well. So the UK government, I saw that in March 21, they opened another consultation to look at further restricting the use of some of these chemicals. But quite honestly, by the time it takes for a consultation to go through and for it to be reviewed and for papers to be presented to government, and then with lobbying that's done by the industrial community and by the farming community, the chances are that actually by the time any action is taken, it can be years that have gone by and the actual changes that are made are very, very small. So it really is important to take action into your own hands. So what are these endocrine chemicals? So some of these are known as Xenoestrogens. So if you watched my recording last week, if you've looked at my other video about how to support the menopause, you'll have seen I talked about phytoestrogens. These are plant-based compounds that very gently latch onto our estrogen receptor cells in the body and provide a very weak source of estrogen that can be very, very helpful when we're going through the menopause. But when we look at chemicals, which are known as xenoestrogens, these also will latch onto your estrogen receptor cells, but they are exerting a really strong effect on these, and therefore through the menopause it can be really detrimental. In fact, it can be really detrimental to all aspects of our hormonal cycle through our life stages. And there's been a lot of research with regards to some of these endocrine disruptor chemicals and the impact it has on things like breast cancer and prostate cancer. So, there's a lot of further research to be done in this area, but that is what they're doing. They're latching